Okay, and we are live with another awesome episode of BS Busters. The last one in February, aka Black History Month. Before we get started, I just want to say that, as you all know, this week Leonard Nimoy died, the guy who's most popular for playing Mr. Spock from Star Trek,
Live
the
long.
original series, and the awesome movies, and a few cameo appearances in The Next Generation. But you might not know that he was Jewish, so I will give him the Jewish proclamation for the deceased. Shabbat and Shalom. And because I am a Trekkie, live long and prosper, Mr. Spock.
Live long and prosper.
Well, now that we got that out the way, I would allow my co-host to introduce himself.
I am the enemy. I will succeed. My mission, yes, I must complete. My name is Eggman. Don't forget my name. If you ask me again, I will tell you the same.
Okay, I'm a little weirded out by that. Excuse me. So weird it made me sneeze. Yeah, it's me, Mr. Red Fox, and today's topic of BS Busters is pretentious geniuses. Now, these are people who are in the industry who are considered to be pretentious geniuses. Now, before we get into what we mean by pretentious, we have to define a genius. So, I mean, the Webster definition of genius is genius. Let's see here. The Webster definition of genius is an exceptional natural capacity of intellect, especially as shown in creative and original work in science, art, music, etc. That's the first definition. The second one is a person having such capacity. So someone who has the capacity to be a genius, they say he's a genius, he or she. The third one is a person having an extraordinarily high intelligence rating on a psychological test, as in an IQ above 140. So number 4 is a natural ability or capacity, a strong inclination. Basically, I'm not going through all the definitions. You get what I'm saying. It basically means someone who basically is heavily influences or pushes a medium forward in a way that cannot be measured to their contemporaries or people who come before or after them. So, as an example of a genius, I'll use someone who might be well known. If you like music, right? You might have heard of this gentleman. His name was Barry White. Anyone? Barry White is considered to be a musical genius. There is no one who, before Barry White, you had never had symphonic, orchestrated medleys heavily used in R&B and pop music. You didn't have it. It didn't exist. Occasionally you'd have maybe like a violin or some violins, but like really orchestrate, like music treated, like even popular and R&B music treated as like classical orchestrated music. You had never seen that before. Not to mention, and that was his contribution as a singer, as a music writer. Then you have to, as a composer, music writer, composer.
Okay.
Then later on, music, voice talent-wise, no one has ever sounded like Barry White. Me personally, if I had to take anyone's voice, I'd want to take Barry White's voice. Because it's been proven that Barry White's voice is an audio aphrodisiac. in China, it was
Quite
discovered.
unique.
No, literally, quite literally. In China, it was discovered that their pandas weren't getting it on, but they discovered that if they played Barry White music for a few of their pandas, it actually got them in the mood to breed naturally 2/3 out of the time. Shocking,
Wow.
isn't it? Yes, that's right. So it's been
That
proven. Barry White's music is audio love. Okay, but I mean, the man was a genius. So a genius is someone who moves the medium, whatever medium they're in. You know, whether it be business, music, video games. That's a genius. So what do we mean by pretentious? Someone who doesn't fit any of those criteria, and yet either they themselves call themselves geniuses, or
more like perceive that they are the genius themselves.
they perceive themselves as being a genius. They call themselves a genius, or they have people, a fandom, that propel them, that purport them as being geniuses when they aren't. So without further ado, and I'm going to let my co-host go first, name 3 people and describe, not in great detail, describe 3 people that you feel are pretentious geniuses in the video game industry, sir.
Oh dear God.
Or shall I go first?
That's the thing. I know who these people were going to get into, but my bloody hell, I forgot their names, and even the ones from decades ago or a decade ago that I really can't remember their name. But I might as well give you the lantern here.
Okay, I'll go first. We're going with 3 for each of us, and we're going to crown the 7th in the chat. Well, you won't know who the 7th are until we announce it. But my first one is Hideo Kojima.
Why am I not surprised? That actually I didn't want to bring his name first, but yeah, let's go with him.
Now, I'm going to tell you why I say Michael Pachter. Michael Pachter, or sorry, not Michael Pachter. I'll tell you why I say Hideo Kojima. Nothing Hideo Kojima has ever said, like, nothing he's made is really all that original. And I know what some people are going to say. Well, what do you mean it's not original? There's nothing like Metal Gear Solid. There's nothing like Zone of Enders. There's nothing like Snatcher or that weird ass shooter that was like Perfect Dark, that was like Metal Gear Solid except with vampires and shit. Let me disabuse you of that notion. Here's what you need to understand about our good friend Hideo Kojima. Before he became a video game producer, he wanted to make movies, and he was actually took a lot of film classes in college. And believe it or not, he when he made one of his most well-regarded games, Metal Gear, he had seen a movie that, let me tell you the plot of the movie and see if it sounds familiar. This movie is about a one-eyed guy who is blackmailed by the government into performing an impossible mission. And he's double-crossed by someone close to him, but he still accomplishes this impossible mission. And he is... One of the major characters in the movie is an old dude who looks like you would not want to F with him. And this guy's name is Snake. And his last name is Pliskin. Now, this movie's name is Escape from New York.
Oh my God. The one-eyed surfer dude who can do the freaking impossible things.
No, that was Escape from L.A. Escape from New York is even better.
Oh, sorry. I'm confused one of the two. Yeah.
Escape from New York, he hang glides in. But I digress. doesn't that plot sound eerily familiar? It should. It's basically the same plot that every Metal Gear Solid has had since. Snake.
Wait a minute. In every game?
Well, basically, except for the third one where you had Raiden, but I mean, 1, 2, 4, Snake gets sent on an impossible mission and is double crossed by someone close to him, and then he has to fight some other guy, and he's got one eye, and his name is Snake, and he somehow makes it out because he's a badass, because he's Snake. Yeah. My point is that.
I just gotta ask: was there any possible way that Hideo Kojima would have actually how can I say this? Not make things original, not exactly make things original out of those plots. More like tip it up on its head.
It would be if he actually like. Here's the problem with Kojima. Basically, he doesn't even add anything. It's like a word for word. He just changes some names around. Second case in point, Snatcher. Now I love Snatcher. It's one of my favorite adventure / light gun games ever. Snatcher. Ask me if you never heard of this plot. In the future, in a dystopian future, there are these humanoid androids that look damn near human, actually completely human, who start going berserk and killing humans. And there's a special detective guy who goes around hunting them down, called a Snatcher. And he actually winds up finding out that he himself might be one of these humanoid androids, and his girlfriend is also one of these humanoid androids, but they aren't going berserk and killing people. And it culminates with him running on a rooftop, being chased down by another one in the rain. That sounds very familiar to me.
You know what?
That movie, that game sounds like a movie that came out in the early '80s. It's one of the best science fiction pictures ever made. Blade Runner. Snatcher is Blade Runner. Okay. Before I go on, the Q&A app is open, so if you guys want to ask questions, you can.
Let me guess. This can't equate to plagiarism, right?
He just changed the name around. Look, personally speaking, if Hideo Kojima wants to steal shit from other people, if he wants to steal John Carpenter films and turn them into video games, go ahead. But I want to see him steal The Thing. That's what I want to see him steal. But I digress. Anyway, so this dude hasn't had an original thought in 25 years of making video games. No, longer than that. 30.
But you know what? You might as well say the same thing with the Super Mario Brothers series. But
I would, except for one small problem. Super Mario games start with gameplay first, and every single Super Mario Brothers game is like Mario is the IP slapped on the game. The gameplay is different. Like if you play Super Mario Brothers 2 the same way you play Super Mario Brothers 1, you'll get your ass handed to you. If you play Super Mario Brothers 3 the same way you played Super Mario Brothers 2, you'll get your ass handed to you.
Yeah.
If you play Super Mario Brothers 3 the same way you played Super Mario World, well, actually, Super Mario World and 3 are the closest to each other in terms of gameplay.
But then there's some things in Super Mario World you can't do in Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah, but literally, if you understand the concept of running through a level, find the key, take the key over here, hit this P block in order to make this happen. 3 and World are very similar in a lot of their mechanics and hitches and gimmicks. But if you tried to play Super Mario 64 the same way you played Super Mario World, you're going to get your ass handed to you.
You're a dead man.
Yeah, you're going to get your ass handed to you. My point is that they start with gameplay first. And, you notice there's no continuing storyline in this. Hideo Kojima literally steals the entire premise of his games from popular culture. Like, Zone of Enders is every single anime made between 1990 and 1994. Some punk-ass kid is on a ship, and something happens. He winds up getting into, he's on a colony ship. He winds up getting into a escape pod, but it's not an escape pod, it's a mech. And by some inexplicable mystical alchemy, he's a super pilot, and he winds up being really good at flying a mech, even though he's never flown a mech before in his life. And then like halfway through the season, like it turns out the mech was only using like 30% of its full power, and it transforms into some badass super mode. And then you get to the end of the series, and they got to fight it out. That's Zone of Enders, but that's every fucking anime made from 1990 to 1994. Probably longer than that, but I'm being conservative with the estimation. My point is that the man has no creative talent in his body. Everything he does is just a fucking ripoff. And I'm personally speaking, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of Hideo Kojima always popping up, and people are like, oh, Hideo Kojima's a genius. Fuck Hideo Kojima. Man has not had an original thought in 30 plus years.
Somehow that reminds me of one certain YouTuber.
Shots fired. Shots fired. But I digress. The second of my pretentious geniuses isn't going to take long to dismantle because it's pretty well known that this guy's a total asshole. And who am I talking about? Mr. Peter Molyneux.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, Peter Molyneux is a pretentious asshole. And here's the problem. The worst thing
hold up. Before you go, he did say that he is not a pathological liar. And I believe him. I believe that of him.
I would believe it, but he is a pathological liar. So even when he tells the truth, he could in fact be lying. I am not a pathological liar. Oh. But every game you've made except for Populous, you have over-exaggerated the shit out of it. Like, okay, and here's the thing. I have played a lot of Molyneux games. Like, okay, Populous, Black and White, Dungeon Keeper, Black and White's expansion, Fable, Fable 2, Fable 3. I've played a lot of Lionhead Studio games. I played a lot of Bullfrog Studio games. I love Populous. I have it on my SNES. I love that game. Still doesn't change the fact that the man he makes these grandiose promises and always fails to deliver. Why? Because Molyneux is not a programmer or designer. Molyneux is the guy, he comes up with the idea, but he doesn't have to implement it. Okay? I understand. I'm an idea guy. I come up with the idea. Implementing it, my follow-through is fucking atrocious. Okay? Like, I understand that. But here's the thing. I have people behind me who help me push my stuff forward and make it better. But I mean, like, that's why you have a good team, but you never overpromise. Like, I've never gone to any of my people and said, any of my customers and said, hey guys, yeah, you think I should get like this $10,000 arcade cabinet? Yeah, I'm gonna get this $10,000 arcade cabinet. No, I don't make those types of promises. Why? Because I know there's no way in hell I'm gonna spend $10,000 in my budget on a fucking arcade cabinet.
It's kind of surprising to me that of all these grander announcements that he makes, you would probably think that he actually had a discussion about this with his developers before doing all this charade.
No, he doesn't do that. See, Molyneux goes to the press conferences, he pops out and he says, hey guys, this game is going to change your life. and the developer's like, how the fuck am I supposed to program that? and they scratch their heads like that is impossible to program, my friend. Impossible. and not possible. It's impossible and not like, I mean, the man makes these grandiose promises. Like Fable was supposed to be the ultimate RPG. Look, I love Fable. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Okay, I have it. I had the original version on my old PC, and I lost my disc, my Jewel disc case with the code. So I just rebought the remastered edition, the anniversary edition on Steam for like, I want to say 10, 15 bucks. No, I already had another version on Steam, and when the anniversary edition came out, Steam had a deal where if you like bought it, you paid like $5 and you got the other version too. But my point is that Steam is great if you have a gaming PC. Steam shits all over. The only thing that comes closest to Steam in terms of deals, and I hate to say this because I really fucking hate Sony, is Sony's flash sales is the closest thing to Steam, and even Sony's flash sales suck compared to Steam. Like I've gotten games that I was like looking forward to. Like I got Bastion for like $2 off of Steam, and Bastion's a really good game. But I digress.
And you know what? Coming from the other side of the perspective, I have not played any Fable Peter Molyneux's of. I've never played any of Peter Molyneux's games, so. Coming out from outside in and looking at all this, let me just say, for the lack of better word, shenanigans that's been happening with Molyneux, I wouldn't give the man so much flack or even put him in this discussion until you see the track record that he's been making, which is rinse and repeat. And I'm like, goodness gracious, man, have you not learned of your past mistakes?
The thing is that he keeps on doing this, and people keep on buying his game. So, what are you gonna do? So, Peter Molyneux, you're a pretentious ass. I like your games, but like, here's the thing: Molyneux could be a genius if he didn't promise so much. People would say, he offers a good game, it turns out well. Yeah. Yes. But no, he does the opposite. Okay, Fable is a good game. It's not great. Okay. Fable is fun, but there's some issues with it. He shits all over his past game and then talks about his next one. Fable has issues. God. The problem with Fable is this, okay? The combat is shitty in the first Fable. The level up system is kind of dumb.
You don't. I've been hearing that, but I really thought to myself, no, it can't be that good. It can't be that.
No, I'll tell you how the level up system works. In Fable, every time you level up, you age 1 year. But here's the problem: Fable is an RPG. So, as you know, if you play an RPG, you level up to become more powerful. So if you actually level up so that you can beat some of the later enemies and become more powerful, and so that you can get more money, so that you can buy better weapons, so that you can equip better weapons and take on tougher enemies, so that you can get more experience and become more powerful. Basically, by the end of the game, you're this old ass looking dude, and it's not a good, And there's a couple of side quests you can do in Fable where you can unage yourself by 20 years. You can take like 20 years or 7 years or 10 years off your life. But really, it's like, in order to do it, you have to have your alignment be really good and do a series of really long, involved side quests for either the Shrine of Ultimate Evil or the Shrine of Ultimate Virtue. It's a pain in the ass. That was the first Fable. And the ending of the first Fable is kind of like what the WTF. Now, if you have the Lost Chapters, which are the expansion to the first Fable, it makes, you get a better ending. But I mean, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get to that point. But I digress. Basically, every single Fable has had this issue where it's like they fix some of the core mechanics from the previous one, but they still haven't taken Fable where it needs to go. And this is turning into a Fable discussion. I'm not going to do that. I need to get to my third pretentious genius who needs to shut up and be quiet in this video game industry. And this one was hard because, there's always a lot of people. But this is someone who I feel just needs to shut the fuck up and just never open their mouth ever again. Who am I talking about? Nolan motherfucking Bushnell.
Oh.
Why did I say Nolan Bushnell? Because Nolan Bushnell is an asshole. Nolan Bushnell is a symptom for what's wrong with this industry. Nolan Bushnell precipitated the second video game crash because he was a sack of shit.
Here's the thing with me with Mr.
Bushnell.
Bushnell, yes. Why in God's name did you sell your company?
Because he wanted to make money. Like, I think he sold it for like 167 million, or it was a hefty chunk of money.
Yeah, but at the same time, before he sold his money, but before he sold the company for that much money, all the money that he had, basically everyone in that company in Atari was smoking the stuffing out of that money.
Well, I don't know about that. What I do know is that Nolan Bushnell, people like to say, well, that was Warner Brothers that crashed. Yeah, but Nolan Bushnell sold the company. Like, here's the thing, okay? I'm not going to sell my business to someone who I know is going to run it into the ground because my name is attached to it. That's my ass on the line. That's my reputation. Even though my name's no longer attached to it, it still kind of is. You know what I mean? It's like KFC, the Colonel's Kentucky Fried Chicken. Even though Harlan Ellison is dead, you still remember that the Kentucky Fried Chicken, the general, the Kentucky Colonel. Like, yep. Or Dave Thomas with Wendy's. I mean, this shit is connected. But I digress. I mean,
the thing is, I'm sorry. The thing is with me, if you're going to start a company, wouldn't you want it to flourish for as long as it can instead of just sell the darn thing? It's like you had your vision for the company, but then after selling it, it seems like you gave up on your vision. What is that?
And then here's the worst thing is that it's never anyone's. It's always everyone else's fault and not Nolan Bushnell's. It's like he's like, well, Warner Brothers ruined it. Well, Trammell ruined it. Well, so and so ruined it. And then the worst thing is that this asshole has the nerve to talk shit about Nintendo, the company that had to pick up the pieces of the industry that his company fucking destroyed. Nolan Bushnell, I say this on behalf. Well, actually, no. But that's not the worst thing. The worst thing is that Nolan Bushnell created one of the worst companies ever. Chucky motherfucking Cheeses.
Oh, snap. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. You gave us a giant talking rat that eats pizza. You know what, Nolan Bushnell? I say this sincerely from the bottom of my heart. Go fuck yourself.
One thing that actually hurts me is when Bushnell got in this sort of lawsuit with Ralph Baer about who created the patent for
the cartridge.
Pong.
For Pong, yeah, they stole Pong. Pong was originally on the. It wasn't called Pong. It was just called Ping Pong or some shit like that. But it was on the in television first, or whatever Max Baer's thing was called. I think it was not Fairchild Channel F, something else, but whatever.
That is just oh god.
Yeah, Nolan Bushnell's a douchebag. I mean, I hate to. Well, actually, no, I don't hate to say that. Nolan Bushnell, you're a douchebag. And I mean that in the most pejorative manner, like negative, just as an insult. You're a douchebag. Anyway, now that we've gotten that out the way, what are your three, Mr. Triple M?
Well, since you brought Nolan Bushnell, I have at least one name that keeps sticking in my head.
Go ahead.
Now, this is a man who co-founded this company that you would think that would have a mascot that would rival Mario, but instead they
Okay,
were actually trying to rival Sonic the Hedgehog, and
okay.
it helps Sony so well in the PlayStation. But
So who's your pretentious genius?
well, it's none other than Jason Bloody Rubin.
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Now, after the whole fall of THQ, after the whole fall of THQ, I didn't even bother. I didn't even know who was running the company until after that fall. Then I heard the name Jason Rubin. I was like, Jason Rubin, who is this name? I checked around his backstory, and he was one of the co-founder of Naughty Dog, and Crash Bandicoot inspired the track and all of that, which technically was never owned by Sony, but I digress. But he was actually under my radar. No, he was not under my radar until he mentioned a bloody stupid thing. Just back in, I think it was 2012 or 2011, that he just said that he wants to see Nintendo games, or Nintendo making games for other platforms. And I'm like, are you bloody kidding me? Am I actually hearing this? Now,
Let me guess. You asked, "Hey, Jason Rubin, you went full retard, didn't you?" Never go. Hey man, you never go full retard, man. You never go full retard. Hey, hey man, you went full retard, didn't you?
You know what's the saddest part? I thought that was full retard right there. But then you notice sometime later you're even hearing the fans saying that, and I'm like, oh dear God.
Say man.
I have never said. I keep saying, I have said this before, but I'll keep saying this again. I have never said that I would want to see Sonic the Hedgehog on a Nintendo platform. Never did.
Hey man, he went full retard. Hey man, hey, don't ever go full retard.
And after the fact, kind of like Bushnell, that the company that he was actually trying to salvage just went under. And which company was that? Yes, THQ. Jason Rubin was actually was put in that let's just say as a captain to steer a sinking ship off the deep end of the ocean. That ship has disappeared, my friend.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
And the other person that was behind that ship was none other than Captain Jason Rubin.
Well, I'm going to tell you when I knew Jason Rubin was full of shit was when he said the Xbox 360 won the 7th generation. I was like, man, I don't know. Look, this was before weed became legal in where I I don't live in Washington, D.C., but like one of my businesses is there. I have friends that live there. I was like, damn, man, whatever weed you're smoking is good shit, man. If you think that Xbox 360 won the 7th gen, you are bad. Man, you smoking some good shit, son. Some good shit.
I mean, it just freaking blew my bloody mind.
Or to put it in true quotes, hey man, you went full retard, didn't you? Hey man, you never go full retard. Sean Penn never went full retard.
And speaking about Jason Rubin, we might get back to this very same topic about Naughty Dog sometime later. But yes, let's see. There's any other person that I can remember. Shoot. Oh. Say. Red Fox. Do you remember these two people that? Now I remember. I was going to mention someone else, but this one came into play. Um, John Carmack, but he is not the person. He is not the pretentious genius up here. It's the
John
other
Romero.
John.
John
Yeah.
Romero.
Yes,
Yeah,
John Romero.
personally, I think both of them are pretentious. Karnak is a Karnak. I mean, he might be a nice guy. The dude.
No, but one thing I have to say about Carmack, because these two Johns here, with John Carmack, he went um, full on gameplay, while John Romero here was full blown story. That story is the make of the game. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Romero. I think I have to go with Carmack on this one. And guess what happened when they both set apart from the perspective? They made their own company. While Mr. Carmack here was in success with his vision or his philosophy, but Romero here, the
Well, he
first
made
game that
Daikatana, so I mean,
yeah, the first game that he wanted to make with full blown story all the way, it was disaster.
well, I mean, I think the reason, yeah, but Daikatana wasn't shitty because of the story. Daikatana was shitty because, um, Daikatana was shitty because, first of all, it came out and at a time where, like, what John wanted to do with the technology wasn't there yet to really do it. So it wound up looking really kind of shitty. I mean, like, Daikatana, because I played the handheld version of Daikatana. There was a handheld version of Daikatana on the Game Boy Color. It actually is a good game, believe it or not.
You
Um,
don't say. Okay, that definitely
no,
flew under the radar.
the story is actually pretty good. The thing is that like Daikatana, the gameplay design of Daikatana was shit. Okay,
And that
because
was
John
that was
Romero's gameplay design is shit. John Romero was always the graphics guy, but he
and that
couldn't design a level to change his life. Okay, to
yeah,
save
and
his life.
that's the point I was making, because without when he basically uh, um, um, he just kicked the gameplay philosophy out the window, and
Yeah,
that's that's where all that's when everything caved in on him.
yeah. I mean, I can't get mad. I mean, like, the thing is this, okay? Like, John Romero actually produced something you'd say, okay, this guy did something that was genius worthy. He and John Carmack made Doom, and Doom 2, and Doom 3D,
But yeah,
and Shadow Warrior. In any game that gives me a character named Lo Wang, who's like one of his catch lines is, "Hey, all the ladies like Wang."
I'm sorry.
um,
That kind of sounded like uh oh crap our famous muscle dude, dark glasses, blonde.
Duke Nukem, yeah. Well, I mean,
Yes.
the game, like, here's the thing, okay? Like, it gave us so much, and I could be looking at it rose-tinted goggles because I like Duke Nukem, I like Doom, I love all that shit. But um, so now that you've nominated your two, we, between the two of us, have chosen who should be the most pretentious asshole in video gaming right now.
Now we still have one more person to name as number 6.
Well, who would you say is number 6?
Oh God. you know. Oh snap! Yeah. I, r- I really can't remember. What was the worst failed attempts in video game history?
Randy Pitchford.
No, Randy Pitchfork.
Randy Pitchford from Gearbox.
Crap. You know what? No, nah.
Mark Kearney.
Yeah, there's two Mark Cunnies here. Which is the Mark Cunnies? Is it the one from that made Knack?
Yeah, they're all the same guy. Mark Kearney made Knack. He also designed the Vita and the PS4. So yeah, he also worked on Dick Tracy, the Sega game, and the NES game, and the SNES game. I mean, he's been in the industry a long time. He also worked on Marble Madness, not Marble Madness. Yeah, Marble Madness.
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't put him on a very pretentious genius. He's um. Oh crap, man. You know, I might as well pick oh, what was it? Cosmo. Uh, I keep forgetting the name. Who was the person that made Metroid with Gunpei Yokoi? Was it Sakamoto?
No, it wasn't. I don't think. Here, I'll go look it up. He was the producer of Metroid Other M.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up because I know who you're talking. I don't think he's pretentious because he also helped Retro work on those Metroid Prime. So I can't. Metroid Prime's fucking awesome. So I don't.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put him on this list, but after he made Other M, he came up with this statement, and I don't know if this was a mistranslation or
His
not.
name
But
is it's either Yoshio Sakamoto or Yosuke Hayashi.
no, I think it was Yoshio Sakamoto.
I think it was Sakimoto. It was Sakamoto, yeah, because he was also the dude who wrote that abysmal script.
Yeah.
Like,
because he made he said this statement about the Metroid Prime series that he really didn't like those games, or he did not want to acknowledge Retro Studios' work for it, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that was Nintendo arrogance, because you have to remember, Nintendo, when they first hired Rare, they did not feel that a Western company could be a good developer. Like, it took Nintendo a while to not look down on American companies, or like Western style companies. So, you know.
And you know what? I was actually hoping that was a mistranslation, because there was such an occurrence that happened back when Rareware was made Donkey Kong, and for some odd reason someone translated that Miyamoto hated that game, and then sometime later Miyamoto had to recorrect that. I didn't say that. I said that I actually liked it, that I was surprised that an American company actually made such a great game. So, yeah.
No, I think if there was any dislike, if there was any surprise, it was that game was that good and not made. But because here's the thing, you play Donkey Kong Country, it feels like it's a Nintendo game.
Oh,
I just re-downloaded the whole trilogy for $4.50 because I had the games on my Wii, and like they're like $1.50 to re-download them on the Wii U, And I
Yes, please.
downloaded all 3 of them, and I can tell you right now, those games stand the test of time. I have
Yes,
not
please.
started on Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest, or Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Trouble, but I can tell you right now, those games stand the test of time. And for people who are like, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is harder, Donkey Kong Country Returns is harder. No, it's
No,
not.
no, my friend. Oh
You
no.
have a heart system. You have a health system. You can take 2 or 3 hits. You take 1 hit in Donkey Kong Country,
And you're dead.
1, 2, and 3, you're dead. You fall into a pit, you're dead. You miss a jump, you're dead. You miscalculate how you're gonna bounce off an enemy, you're dead.
Dead.
I'm playing this game and I'm like, how much have my skills atrophied? Because I haven't played this game in years. Like literally, I haven't played Donkey Kong Country in almost 5 years since I first bought it on the Wii. Like that's how long it's been since I've played this game, and I'm just like, oh my god. But I digress. It's 8 o'clock. No, go ahead.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, 3, and Land 1, 2, 3 are back on the eShop.
Yes, they are. I knew they were going to come to the eShop because they're in the European eShop and the Japanese eShop. Why would it not come to America? That makes no sense.
Apparently, I guess it was some legal reasons that it took longer, but hey, I don't know what's going on.
If Microsoft was going to stand in the way of that shit, I would have gone to their offices in Seattle, Washington, and kicked their ass myself. But before we go on any further, it's 8:03. We want to wrap this up around 8:30ish. Just want to let you guys know the question bar is open. You guys can ask questions if you want to. Just let you know that. Don't ask questions in the YouTube thing. Use the Google app because I don't really feel like opening up the YouTube thing in order to answer questions. Sorry, I'm lazy like that. But I guess we can go to free topic now. Triple M had a free topic he wanted to bring up, so go ahead, sir.
Well, it has come to my attention that actually before this, we talked about Jason Rubin earlier, but there's something very interesting, or very, should I say, ironic, that's been happening with Naughty Dog recently.
Yeah.
Before that, because earlier they said they made a statement of saying that they would rather make realistic games. They stick to realistic games, as in Uncharted, The Last of Us, and all that, and they really didn't want to go back to make it. And I'm doing air quotations here because it's kind of how it sounded, but kiddie games. But actually, what they were saying is colorful games. But to me, you guys are just saying kiddie games. But now, recently, Event Status brought this to my attention that now they're saying they really want to create another Crash Bandicoot game. When I heard that, I was like, wait a minute. I'm sorry, Naughty Dog. Is your hypocrisy showing now, or did someone in the Sony company really thrusted your arm so up your back that you had to say that? You're speechless, huh?
No, we got a comment here that I'm going to tackle in a little bit because I'm crazy like that. But before we do, what am I going to say about it? Here's the thing. Like, Sony knows there are fans of those games. I would buy a PS4 if they said we're making another Jak and Daxter. I don't, frankly speaking, I know this is going to sound terrible. I don't give a fuck about Uncharted. I don't give a fuck about Nathan Drake. If you wanted to take Nathan Drake and throw his ass into a
Ooh.
prison jail, tie him down, and have him get, have him forced to toss salads for the rest of his life until the end of time for trying to smuggle heroin out of Bhutan, I don't give a fuck. I don't like the character. I don't like the games. Fuck Nathan Drake and Sully and all those other fucking characters. I don't care. My favorite game is my favorite Naughty Dog game. I don't really give a shit about Crash Bandicoot. I think Crash Bandicoot was Sony's attempt to outshine Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong has had some good games made in the 7th and 8th generation. Crash Bandicoot ain't had shit made in the 7th and 8th generation. Well, no. Crash Bandicoot had Crash of the Titans and Crash Mind Over Mutant, which are okay. Not great, okay.
Oh shoot! Yeah, I have to recorrect myself. I said Sonic the Hedgehog. That was not the case. It was actually Donkey Kong. You're right.
He was made to outshine Donkey Kong Country. It didn't work. It didn't. Like, people seem to forget that for a short period of time, Nintendo's little shitty SNES was doing pretty well, even after the introduction of the PlayStation 1. Okay, you want to know why? Because they had games like fucking Donkey Kong Country and Star Fox and all those awesome RPGs towards the end of the life of that system. But I'm not going to get into that. Basically, Naughty Dog, they're fans of those games. Like, I would buy a PS4 if they said, okay, we're going to make an open world Jak and Daxter game with the full power, with those 8 gigs of RAM that you Sony fanboys are always bragging about. Because I mean, I just put another memory card in my PC. It's another 8 gigabyte memory card. I got it on sale. It's not quite as powerful as my other one, but it works in tandem. So now I've got 16 gigs of RAM, bitches. So what do you think about that? It doesn't mean anything for my games, but you know, since we like to talk about how powerful our hardware is, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to see I'd like to see a Jak and Daxter game with the power of the PS4 in an open world. You know, with Jak running around and Daxter and all that shit. That'd be awesome. But no, we're gonna get another Last of Us, which is, I mean, okay. Let me disabuse you of this notion. Last of Us is an okay game. It's not great. It's not groundbreaking. It's okay. Okay. What Last of Us is a fucking it's a zombie game. Okay. I know they're like, whoa, no, it's a fungal infection, the mushroom, the cordyceps fungus. It's a fucking zombie game, okay?
Oh, come on.
With shitty AI mechanics, crappy escort missions where the person you're escorting can make all the noise in the world, friggin' turn on a damn refrigerator, hear it buzzing, hack down a tree with a chainsaw. The zombies won't come after them. But man, let you drop a glass bottle on the ground, they'll find your ass.
I have to ask this: the escort mission, is it as bad as in the ones in GoldenEye from the N64?
No, because here's the thing: they ignore. And N64 actually weren't that bad because they were aiming for the person who was hacking the system, and they ignored you. This game, Last of Us, has the opposite problem. They ignore whoever it is you're with. The girl, Ellen Page. I forgot her name in the game. Ellen. I'm gonna call her Ellen Page. They ignore Ellen Page and come after your ass. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? What? I mean, she's sitting here making all this damn noise. Why aren't you going after her little ass? Why are you coming after me? Not to mention that Joel was the most one-dimensional. I'm a gruff white guy who had a tragic past with a 5 o'clock shadow who drinks. Yeah, I'm like every generic action hero in a post-apocalyptic future. Thanks a lot. Naughty Dog, you guys crafted a genius, a world of genius. Last of Us is an okay game. It's not great. It's okay. personally speaking, I think that Last of Us. I think Last of Us is rather overrated, and I think that I wish people would stop telling me how, well, you know, Last of Us is. I've played Last of Us. It's okay. It's not great. It's okay. Let me put it this way: if I had a choice, it's kind of like that choice between. If I have a choice between Andrew Garfield staying Spider-Man and Sony still making Spider-Man movies and Marvel getting it back, I'll take Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man dying every time and let
Oh,
Marvel get it back. Okay. Like if I had a choice between a Last of Us sequel and a Jack and Daxter game, I'll take Jack and Daxter every time. Joel can die and Ellen Page can die. I'll hand them to the zombies myself.
oh
Here
dear
she is.
God.
Kill her. Please kill her now. Because I like Jack and Daxter, I don't give a shit about Last of Us. But I'm an old school gamer. Like I got my PS2 so that I could the first game I got for it was Jack and Daxter 2. I was like, wow, this game is fun. Like I was like, I don't know why people are so into Jack and Daxter. And then I got Jack and Daxter 2. I'm like, wow, this game's awesome. I got Ratchet and Clank. I'm like, wow, I love these games. And we're getting nothing. We're getting none of that awesome shit anymore. We're getting the reason I get Sony is my third party platform, or was my third party platform. Now that I have a gaming PC, that kind of takes the onus on me owning a third party platform, because most third party games that I want to play hit PC too. So I
You,
mean,
you know, now that you mentioned about the whole third party platform thing, if you have not heard or seen Red Knight, aka Active Gamer Life's latest podcast,
yeah, I did.
that he just mentioned that that he thinks that it would be fine if Sony went third party. I'm like, but the premise he went behind it, I'm kind of like, I was like, okay, I can see where you're getting at.
No, I understand what he's saying, but here's the problem. Sony, in order for Sony to go third party, they'd have to have first party games that are good, that sell, and they don't. Like, this is the last time I'm going to mention Ready at Dawn's Order 1866. After I say this, I'm not going to talk about it ever again. The Order 1866 was in development for 4.5 to 5 years. After 4.5 to 5 years of development, it had. I'm going to be liberal. 8 hours of gameplay from a first-party developed Sony game. Is this the PS1 age again? Seriously? This is what you're giving me.
Speaking about that, you know, the Order 1886 kind of resonance with me when it comes with the PS1 era. That at that time, Sony had a contract that any game that's going to be made on that first PlayStation, those games have to be 3D. They cannot be 2D. And I was like, dang. So that is kind of a harsh way to set to set a game up. Even if the developers wanted to create something in 2D, they can't do it. So that's what. Yes.
But here's the thing that gets me. Okay. Here's the thing about Ready at Dawn that gets me is that and I had to reevaluate my stance and stop being so harsh on it. Is that they are a mobile developer. They made mobile games on Android and iPhone. On an Android or smartphone, 8 hours of gameplay is a huge amount of time. If you're a mobile developer, 8 hours of gameplay is a huge amount of playtime for a mobile game. Now, if you're playing a console game or an actual handheld title, that's shit. I mean, the problem is that there are games from, like, I have Game Boy games from years ago that I can't beat in 8 hours. Like, try and beat Pokemon in 8 hours. The
Oh,
original Pokemon. Pokemon Red or Blue. Try to beat that in 8 hours.
but
I mean, you might get to the Final Four, but you're going to be missing a lot of shit.
but Red Fox, you're comparing an RPG to a and this is what I have a problem with all the 1886, that it's supposed to be a triple A game.
Okay, all right, okay. I will compare another AAA game to another AAA game. From the same gen, from the 8th gen. Let's see. Perfect. I have the perfect example. Super Smash Brothers for Wii U is a AAA game.
Nah.
It has, yeah, you can beat one mode in less than 8 hours, but if you want to get everything out of that game, you're going to need a bit more than 8 hours of gameplay. Okay? As a matter of fact, you could spend the look. I'm still playing Brawl and finding shit. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's stickers, there's trophies. I mean, here's the thing. You get a Smash Brothers game, there's always shit. Like, not the original Smash Brothers for the 64, but once it hit GameCube, there's tons of content in these games. So, I mean, so don't tell me, well, it's a AAA, especially a game that's been in development for 4.5, 5 years. Fuck you. No.
About the original Smash Brothers for the N64, how much was it? How much was it priced when it was first released?
I want to say $50.
$50. So
yeah. But you have to remember, $50 bought you more back then. So actually, games were more expensive back in the day. Like a cartridge title for the NES was like $30, $40, but $30, $40 back then is the equivalent to 60 or 70 now. Or no, like 50 or 60 now. $50 back then is the equivalent to 65, 75 now. 80 then, like $199 system back then is like $280 now. Like, you have to, so actually games were more expensive back then to buy, but you got more game. Like, I don't understand these people like, games are expensive. Then I should be getting more content, not less, motherfucker. But
now, here's the thing. I have a bit of a pet peeve with the order. I mean, it was perceived a triple-A game first and foremost, and on top of that, $60. So I expected that game to have more than just the story mode. But I have to give props to Radiant Dawn that they never mentioned anything else other than this game is going to be a one player experience.
They also didn't mention how short it was, or how they apparently Radiant Dawn, they're mobile developers, but they must have plugged in an N64 and figured out if we use fog in the distance, it cuts down on the on the processors, on the processing power, so we can do more stuff. I'm like I was playing, like, okay. I said this was the last time I was gonna mention it, and then I'm gonna get to the questions, and then we're gonna say what we're gonna do at the end, and then we're gonna wrap this up. But I'm just gonna say this. Last Friday, the order came out. I went to class early that morning. I had an hour-and-a-half long class, but we had a test, and I finished it, and I left. My friend and I, we finished around the same time, and the dude lives like literally 2 or 3 blocks away from the school, from the university. So I'm like, okay, dude, I got nothing to do. It's Friday. I don't have shit to do. Let's play the order. He was like, yeah, I just got it. I'm gonna play the order. I'm like, let's do it old school style. Which, if you don't know, old school style with a single player game is where you play one level, you hand it off to the dude next to you, they play a level, you do it back and forth until you beat the game. And he was like, are you sure we can do that? I'm like, I heard this game is short. Little did I know how short this game was. So we sit down on this dude's couch. We get to his place, sit down on the couch. We play this game, play it through, get through the cutscenes and everything. I didn't watch all the cutscenes because I had to go to the bathroom sometimes, okay? And he probably played for me while I was gone and taking care of business. And, you know, when he had to go to the bathroom, I played for him because you cannot skip the cutscenes.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
So anyway, we're playing this game and everything is just all just grand fan dinglish, and we beat it. And literally, we started playing this game around, let's see, I got out of class around 9:30ish. He's 3 blocks away from the school, so it took like 15, 20 minutes to get there. We stopped by Taco Bell on the way there, so that's why it was a little bit longer. So we started around 10ish. We finished around 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Okay.
This game. We beat this game in 10, 11, that's 1 hour, 12, 2 hours,
No way.
1, 3 hours, 2, 4 hours, let's say 3 o'clock. 5 hours. We beat it.
Are you effing kidding me?
Playing in tandem. Now, if you were playing by yourself, it might take you a little bit longer. Of course, we were playing it on the lowest difficulty setting because
Okay.
I'm not playing that shit. Look, you're going to sell me a cheap-ass game and you're going to make it hard too? No. But I digress. Let's get to questions because, you know.
Because out there, we'll have to give Hideo Kojima with Metal Gear Solid. At least you can skip those cutscenes in Metal Gear Solid. Then,
before we get off of Metal Gear Solid, that's what the question is about. Here we go. LOL. Say what you want about Hideo Kojima, but Metal Gear Solid is one of the greatest long-lasting gaming franchises of all time. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Not even close. Most Metal Gear Solid fans actually enjoy the gameplay more than the story. That's because the story can get convoluted at times, but anyone who's played MGS 1 and 2 alone can't deny that it's one of the best gaming experience they had. For those 2 games alone, I think he's worthy of that kind of praise, and I feel people just downplay because he likes Sony. I'm not the biggest Sony fan on the planet, but I'm not going to sit there belittle his work over pretty triviality on fanboy podcasts. Okay, that's fairly decent. Actually, the first 2 Metal Gear Solid games were on the MSX, which I own. They weren't on Sony. So before you go opening your mouth about what the awesomeness that Kojima did, get the system right. First of all. Second of all, it's a stealth game. You run around hiding from dudes, and you hit the wall so that they go, "What's that?" and they run towards it. And then you go around the corner and sneak up behind them and put them in a sleeper hold and knock them out. Or you shoot them. Like me personally, my favorite stealth game, since you want to bring up the Sony PlayStation Metal Gear Solids, go back and try and play those games now. They're really fucking archaic and kind of stupid. If you want to play a good Metal Gear Solid, if you want the Metal Gear Solid experience without it being stupid, Siphon Filter. I was always a Siphon Filter guy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm a Siphon Filter guy. I love Siphon Filter. It's one of my favorite games, and that was on the PlayStation, and I loved it. Metal Gear Solid, just for me, was just that type of game. But what I replied to him with was, it doesn't matter. The entire premise behind his games was stolen from other forms of pop media. This is a fact.
I see it. Ooh.
Finally, he says there's a difference between inspiration and plagiarism. Every great idea comes from some source or a number of sources. And by the way, I'm shocked that Itagaki isn't mentioned in this podcast yet. And I said Itagaki's a total tool, but he got his comeuppance when he quit. What do I think of the new IP he's making for Nintendo under his new company, Valhalla? I think that the game is going to take the place of those shooters that aren't going to be on Nintendo's console. And I'm probably going to buy it. Will the game be good? As long as it's not Tomonobu Itagaki hard, I'll probably enjoy it. But here's the thing. I never thought those Ninja Gaidens made by Tomonobu Itagaki were good. I'm going to be frank with you. I never thought they were just too fucking hard to be accepted. Here's the thing, okay? Ninja Gaiden on the NES is hard, but it's fair hard. Ninja Gaiden made by Tomonobu Itagaki is like the game saying, fuck you, get to my level, or else. And I don't like games like that, because I play games to relax. If I'm playing a game that is harder than if I just, than shit that I do in real life, then I'm not relaxing. I'm fucking stressing out and shit.
And yet you're hearing people asking for more difficult games. And
No, I have nothing. I'm not saying that difficulty isn't good in a game. You need that difficulty curve. What I'm saying is that Ninja Gaiden, right off the bat, is fucking just ugh. Like when I was in college, we set up our suite. The first 3 months we were in a dorm where we set up our suite, and everyone pitched in. We bought in a video game system, and we bought an old big screen TV, and we put it in there. We turned it into a video game suite. And someone bought their Xbox, another person bought their 360, another person bought a Wii and a GameCube. Well, a Wii is a GameCube, so we didn't need an N64. And we just we hooked it up to the TV and had everything set up all sweet. And one of the things was that I played the original Ninja Gaiden, and I can tell you that game is balls to the wall. It's balls to the wall. It is Ninja Gaiden, like Tomonobu Itagaki is a sadist. He's a sick man. And if he makes Devil's Third as hard as his Ninja Gaiden games are, I'm not even gonna buy it. If it's that fucking hard, I'm just gonna be like, no, fuck it.
Yeah, yes, you might rent it first and see how.
I'm not even gonna rent it. I do not play a game. Look. Okay, let me put it this way. In terms of difficulty, my limit of playing difficult games was Konami hard, Atlas hard, Nintendo hard. I'm not going Tomonobu Itagaki hard. I'm not doing it. Because here, in my opinion, Konami hard was hard enough. Go play Gradius. Go play Gradius. Go play Parodius. Go play
even Contra.
Contra without the 30 life code. You go play Contra on hard or very hard.
Oh God. I still remember those days that I felt freaking hard every time I played Contra on the first freaking level.
Go play Castlevania in the second playthrough. The original Castlevanias, not those Igarashi Castlevanias. Old school Castlevanias where you had to walk through and you couldn't really move that fast. You were just like like just whipping shit with your whip. What I'm saying is that I don't like games that are that friggin' hard. I'm sorry. I know some people might get mad at me. But before someone says, "Oh, well, you just can't deal with difficulty." Look, I have beaten Contra on very hard. I have beaten Gradius on very hard. I have beaten tons of Konami games on very hard. I beat the original Ninja Gaiden trilogy by myself, no cheats, no game genie. I know hard, but Tomonobu Itagaki's Ninja Gaiden is fucking insane. And I never, ever, I don't want games like that where basically there's no difficulty curve, there's no real learning, you can't really get a mastery. You can say whatever you want to, but Bayonetta is very unforgiving, but you still have a difficulty curve where they throw some easier enemies at you for you to learn the system, and then once you get into it, it's like, okay, well, let's see how bad it can be. Oh snap!
Well, I wanted to say about this. The reason why I didn't even think about Itagaki as being pretentious genius. I'm kind of in the same in the same boat with Red Fox here. That ever since he got not fired, actually, ever since he quit from Team Techno. Technokoi, I was like, yes, you finally understand the word humble. But then, what even completely got him off that list is the person that made this statement for Tech McCoy when it came to the whole Dead or Alive series about the whole costumes thing, that he didn't this I forgot who it was, but he said he didn't want um, the Dead or Alive characters in a much more revealing outfit, which is practically nude,
I don't know
because
how that's happening because the Dead or Alive girls, Dead or Alive has always been about TNA. Okay, people,
yeah
no one cares about the dudes. I mean, yeah, they got Ryu Hayabusa and shit. No one cares about Ryu. They like TNA. And for those of you who are new to this podcast and don't understand what TNA is, let me put it into the vernacular you can understand. TNA is shorthand for tits and ass. So what I'm saying is that Dead or Alive is a game completely devoted to the fine art of exposition of the feminine tits and ass. Although there is a fat guy in the game who I guess kind of has tits, sorta. Like, I guess
yeah.
all mammals have mammary glands, but in the males they're greatly reduced or gone. Okay, I'm over analyzing this. My point is that basically what I'm saying is that Tomonobu Itagaki is, I mean, Tomonobu Itagaki got his pretentious genius coat call when he left Tecmo Koei and then shopped his new game around to Sony and Microsoft, and they were like, no.
Oh yes, he definitely got even more humble.
Okay, he got knocked down a peg. See, Hideo Kojima, I mean, it's gonna happen. One of these days, people are gonna get fucking tired of, the same fucking story with a dude named Solid Snake, which is a euphemism for a dick, and an old man with an eye patch,
Oh
and
god.
his shitty little stories, and now he's got a puppy, a wolf puppy, whatever. Although I will say it's really cool how you can take in the multiplayer of the game, you can take selfies with people that you've put into a hostage hold. That's kind of cool. But I mean, I'll probably get it on PC just for that. But I digress.
Now, and also, if this person haven't seen uh, um, uh, Razor Fist's latest vid, then you might want to stay away from that vid if you're a Hideo Kojima fan, because
I'm
boy, I
sorry, I'm
didn't.
not a Kojima fan. I don't like Hideo Kojima. I have never liked Hideo Kojima.
Yeah,
Mostly because, like I said, all of his shit he stole from popular culture. And he doesn't give credit for it. Like, he doesn't say, well, I stole this idea. My inspiration for this is
I was
Escape from New York,
I was going to
or
correct you saying inspired, but yeah.
Blade Runner, or Snatcher. Like, he doesn't do that. He just, oh yeah, I'm such a genius. Look, I made this game. No, you stole the idea from something else, you bastard. And his fans were like, Hideo Kojima, fuck you. I tell you when I said fuck you to Hideo Kojima. In that $30 demo he released, where he's one of the hostages you can rescue in one of those missions. I was like, fuck you. Fuck you. I'm sorry. Fuck you.
Oh my god! Hey, so, you know what? I bet some
It's like,
people.
it's about time. Like, they take the hood off his face. It's about time. Fuck you.
I would say this, that
I wish Shigeru Miyamoto would do that shit. I'd tell him to go fuck
actually,
himself too.
actually he did in Majora's Mask, but he went subtle with it. Uh, remember when you had to play a certain song to make a statue of yourself to appear. Well, the Goron statue, the Zora statue, the Deku statue, and even Link. But with Link's statue, it was actually a face of.
Look kind of like Miyamoto.
Yes.
Well, that's still not as much as putting yourself in the game and you're like, it's about time. In English, I'm sorry. I even now, like, if I could give Hideo Kojima the middle finger, just be like, you know what? I'd be like the Mooninites in Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I'm giving you the finger ultra hard. The middle finger ultra hard.
Dear God, man.
But yes, I would totally just be like, you know what? Go fuck yourself, Kojima. But, you know, all of these pretentious geniuses, eventually, they falter. So, before we go, if anyone wants to talk about what they're doing, you want to go first, Mr. Triple M?
Yes, I'm the only one here co-hosting with you. Yeah. Uh, let's just say I was this close to actually go up in arms and just stop with the whole project that I was doing, and hopefully with Micah, but I still decided to.
Give it a chance.
Yes, I really, really want to finish this.
Okay.
So yeah, so
We'll keep our noses to the ground for it.
right. So hopefully, I really, really get this freaking done. Yeah, yeah. And with this, I will just say, even though we bash some video games and some producers, some companies, and some developers, hey, it's not because we're being racist. We're just
No, man.
our opinions.
Totally racist. I don't like black people. Even though I am black. Even though not only actually I'm gonna tell you I'm ultra racist. My great grandmother was half white and half Creek Indian, and my great grandfather was the son of slaves on my mother's side. But, you know, I'm totally racist.
Oh boy.
This is racism, man. I can't stand these black consoles. These black consoles need to get with the times. Everyone knows it's where the white consoles are superior.
But that means the N64. The GameCube. Oh no, wait. The GameCube was actually purple, but it was a darker shade of purple.
Listen. And here's the thing, even though I had a black N64 and a black GameCube and a purple GameCube, and a black Wii, if I originally had a white Wii, but I changed it in for a black Wii later on down the line, and I got a black Wii U, and my Super Famicom is gray, my Famicom is gray. Well, actually, my Famicom is red and gray, but I'm a console racist, son. We can't have a mixing of the consoles. You need to keep your Japanese style consoles away from my Western style consoles, boy. We don't like your kind on this side of the street.
Sarcasm is flowing. Yes.
I don't want my daughter playing on a Japanese console. She better not bring a Japanese console home.
Okay, that actually sounded dirty, but maybe I have a dirty mind.
But I digress. That was just a little bit of fun. Basically, what we're doing, we forgot a character, but we want to wrap this up in a timely manner this time. We'll try to go longer next week with our BS Busters podcast in March. Woo! March Madness. And it's going to be, we're going to talk about unappreciated geniuses in the gaming industry. But before we do that, we'll talk about the one guy we're missing from this podcast that we just forgot to mention, because this jerk off deserves to be mentioned as someone who just really needs to be put down in the gaming industry. But yeah, we'll talk about him. You guys might guess who he is, but if you can guess correctly, you'll win absolutely nothing. But anyway, so look forward to that. I know I said I was going to upload some videos, but yeah, look, man, shit's been popping lately. But I'll try and get my Golden Child review up and I'll try. And I'm also reviewing the John Carpenter's The Thing and John Carpenter's They Live. So yeah. So without that, bid you guys a good night.